Stalin was master of the economic plan, a tyrant who tolerated no failure and no criticism. Privately owned fields became collectivized prairies. The cost of collectivization was the murder of millions of peasants and renewed famine. The truth was kept secret.
People didn't really know all about the bad things. All the achievements were put down to his initiatives. Those who knew otherwise would shut up. They knew if they said anything, they would be imprisoned and shot. It was a regime of terror.
This was socialism in one country. Heavy industry's output doubled in 10 years. Moscow trials tore away some foreign illusions. Stalin's Soviet Union was revealed as a police state, not a workers' paradise. But even in America, thousands stayed loyal to the communist dream. In the 1930s, Moscow called for a popular front of the left against Hitler and fascism.
Within the shadow of the giant skyscrapers, the red cohorts of communism gather at historic Madison Square.
Fighting the spread of fascism became the great cause for socialist and communist alike. Doubts about Stalin were repressed.
И эти люди, лишенные совести и чести, люди с моралью животных, имеют наглость призывать к уничтожению великой русской нации. Немецкие захватчики хотят иметь истребительную войну с народом СССР. Что же, если немцы хотят иметь истребительную войну, они ее получат.
Stalin already looked beyond victory. He told the British that post-war Soviet boundaries must include the Baltic states and part of Poland.
I don't think FDR was capable of conceiving of a man of such profound iniquity, coupled with enormous strategic cleverness, as Stalin. He had never met such a creature. And Stalin was an excellent actor, quiet, affable, reasonable. He sent them all away thinking this really is a great leader.
The Allies agreed that post-war Eastern Europe would be a Soviet zone of influence. Stalin would annex Eastern Poland. As compensation, the Poles would get a slice of Eastern Germany. Poland was offered no choice. Together, the Big Three mapped out the future.
He was a very shrewd negotiator. He doesn't look you in the eye. He's just sort of smoking. He was a chain smoker. And he was just sort of smoking, and you think that probably he's not listening, you know. Then all of a sudden, he would raise his fingers. A terrible mistake.
Stalin confirmed that his troops were ready for war with Japan. But the day before the conference, America had successfully tested an atomic bomb.
President Truman, after consulting with the British and with his own military advisors, decided that he would tell Stalin that we had a powerful new weapon without identifying it as a nuclear weapon.
Truman repeated what he was saying about the new weapon. He thought Stalin didn't hear or didn't understand him. Stalin said, "Okay, thank you for the information."
There was some question amongst the Americans as to whether Stalin had really understood what Truman was saying. As we now know, they knew all about the Manhattan Project through espionage and their own agents.
Stalin was at the zenith of his power. His colleagues felt terror in his presence.
Russian diplomats, like all other Russian officials or party members or whatever, lived in terror of the great man, and justifiably so, because if they gave unpopular advice, they might find themselves in a concentration camp or with a bullet in the back of their heads. It wasn't very easy to give good advice to Stalin. It was unpalatable.
Он сидел такой веселый, настроение у него хорошее, рядом сидел с ним.
Stalin was cheerful and in high spirits. At his side were the main guest, the interpreter, and Soviet guests too.
Вроде и гости, все так. И когда раздавали официанты там какой-то...
The waiters came in with the main course.
То
I think it was turkey.
То один официант, когда наливал...
One of them, whilst he was pouring the sauce, dropped some red liquid on Stalin's sand-colored jacket.
На этот китель, да? Красный такой, жидкость, это самый сок красный, да? И этот он как струйка крови, знаете, так потекла по всему этому красивому, нарядному, торжественному мундиру.
They were in a state of shock about what would happen, because the stains looked like drops of blood.
Замерли в испуге, что будет вообще.
But Stalin didn't react. He continued to talk with his neighbor.
Вот к нему там подскочил какой-то обслуживающий шеф, там обслуживающий.
Then another waiter came up to him with some water and offered to sponge it out. But Stalin said, no, no. And he was absolutely calm.
Просидел совершенно спокойно. Все, значит, увидели.
People saw that things seemed to be okay. Everyone began eating again, and the routine continued.
Спокойно до конца и просидел.
To mark the Soviet elections, Stalin made a grand appearance. To his exhausted people, he promised no rewards, but only more effort, more 5-year plans for heavy industry. Then, in cloudy words, he warned that capitalism and imperialism made future wars inevitable. Did this mean war between the Soviet Union and the West? Abroad,